audiovisual podcast started by ANDYMKOSI explores the art of photography and the journey of these artists, also known as, more commonly amongst us, regular folk, photographers. Andy describes it as a multimedia platform engaging African visual artists on their work and journey as creators. Very happy to have you know that we've got Andy right here on the line with me. Andy, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you making the time.
Yo, what's up, Mz? You good?
I'm cool. Thank you. So Andy, this is a different take. This is a very specialized podcast that you have put together. This audio is visual. Can you give us a holistic overview of what this audio is visual is and all about and all?
Yeah, well, this audio is visual essentially started out as a photography podcast because I myself am a photographer, and I felt at the time there weren't really any people that I knew of or platforms that I knew of that was engaging visual makers on the continent. And so for me, coming from a background of radio, I'm a photographer myself. I was moving to Joburg and leaving the community radio space. I knew I had, if I was going to enter the podcast stream, it had to be niche. And that was the gap that I saw, engaging visual artists. So essentially, we're a podcast that does that. We have main episodes that speak to fantastic people like ANDYMKOSI, Tshepiso, Moropa. We have a list of people that you can Google also as well. But aside from that, like, we attend exhibitions, we review them. We have features where we engage visual artists who've created album arts, and we call that feature Tatikava, where we find out the thinking behind some of these concepts. So essentially, it's just like an effort to bridge a gap that I felt wasn't being occupied at that time.
Oh, nice. I really like that. That sounds excellent. So how does this audio as visual extend itself beyond the actual podcast? You touched on some of the things already, the exhibitions and events we have, etc. Can you elaborate a little further in that regard?
Yeah, essentially, I see this audio visual as a company that employs can give people an opportunity to get paid, right, by creating articles around visual art in Africa and beyond, even with COVID and the pandemic. It afforded us to like spread our reach in terms of who we speak to, because we found that these interviews don't necessarily have to be sit downs with local visual makers. So platforms like Instagram allowed us to engage people with lives and all these other things. But with the companies, like for instance, recently we collaborated with Market Photo Workshop. So they have exhibitions that they line up, and we come in as the content creators around that exhibitions. So it's not just an exhibition in the space, but what else can we say about these people showing this work? Okay, cool. Let's profile Mz if he has a picture up. Or how did Mz make this picture? What was the thinking behind it? Spend a day with Mz, have studio visits, like, just go crazy, man. It's more than just audio. It's visual. It's fantastic. It's lovely. We're finding out more about people. It's not just an exhibition that's 1D. We're trying to create like this holistic vision that's 3D, get like brands on board, get companies to come to us to create this work, and make exhibitions more exciting than just one-dimensional platforms.
Wow. I like the vision. I think I've caught it. And you've been going on about how you get to know photographers as well,
Yeah.
apart from arts and all of that. I want to take some time to get to know you in a bit. We're just going to go into the studio